My name is Joni Spain, and I'm a career advisor in the Office of Entrepreneurship and Career Development in the Jacobs School of Music. And I'm so pleased that we were able to partner with our friends in the IU Gateway office in Beijing. And so at this time, I want to introduce our friend and colleague, Stephen Yin, who is director of the Gateway. Good morning, Stephen, or good evening.
All right. Thank you, Joni. And good morning and good evening, everyone, depending on where you are. My name is Stephen Yin. I'm the director of IU China Gateway office here in Beijing. And as we all know, international engagement is an essential and much valued part of the missions of the Indiana University. And to maintain and expand IU's international engagement and presence, the university has established 5 overseas gateway offices across the globe in India, Thailand, Germany, Mexico, and China. So this gateway office networks serves as portals that link IU students and faculty to opportunities around the world, and also to connect internationally based students and alumni and partners to IU. Myself and my colleagues in the Gateway Network team feel more than happy to work with the faculty, staff, academic, administrative, and service units at IU on any projects and programs with the ultimate purpose of serving our students and alumni better. So this panel discussion is a perfect example of this kind of collaboration we have done, and I'm happy to do more in the future. And I have to say, I am not an expert on career development related issues at all, as Joni and her colleagues from OECD are. But being a Chinese national and based here in Beijing, I and my colleague in the office, Ms. Yiwei Jia, who is also joining us today, can certainly share some local knowledge and information with any of you who wants to consider entering the job market here in China. So please feel free to contact us and any of us here during or after today's session. Our contact details can be found on IU Global website, which is global.iu.edu. I would really like to thank Joni and the 3 of our alumni here in the panel for organizing and joining this event. I very much look forward to the session starting shortly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephen. And just a reminder that Stephen will be on the session the entire time. And so feel free to put any direct questions about the Gateway or their services into the chat directly to Stephen, and he can respond. So it's my pleasure now to introduce our moderator for today's panel, pianist Elizabeth Yao. Elizabeth has been featured as guest soloist with the Coeur d'Alene Symphony as a winner of their 2017 Young Artist Competition and as a guest artist on Spokane Public Radio's From the Studio program. She has other distinctions as well, and as a collaborator, she's played with the University of Washington Symphony Orchestra and the Modern Music Ensemble Inverted Space. Elizabeth has taught at the Indiana University Young Pianist Pre-College program since 2017 and taught as an associate instructor for college-level group classes and private lessons for Indiana University secondary piano program. In 2016, as part of a trio, she was selected by the San Francisco Symphony as part of their Adventures in Music educational outreach program. As an arts administrator, Elizabeth is currently the manager of Project Jumpstart, the student leadership team of the IU Jacobs School of Music Office of Entrepreneurship and Career Development, and we couldn't have gotten through this past year without her. Through this role, she coordinates dozens of events with guest artists, organizes and produces the annual Jacobs School of Music Innovation Competition, and has interviewed IU alumni and faculty around the world, as evidenced of today's event. Elizabeth graduated magna cum laude from the University of Washington with a Bachelor of Music in Piano Performance with honors and a Bachelor of Arts in Chinese. She completed her master's degree at the San Francisco Conservatory of Music under Mac McRae and is currently a doctoral student at Indiana University with double majors in music theory and music history and literature under the tutelage of distinguished Professor Andre Watts. Elizabeth, thank you so much for leading our discussion today.
Of course. Thank you so much for that very nice intro. I'm so happy to be here. I just want to remind those of you who are here with us today as participants in the meeting to attend this alumni discussion. This session is really for you. So if you have questions, I want to just emphasize that you should put them in the chat at any time, and I'll just find a convenient time in the discussion to jump in with your question and ask our panelists. Or you can also feel free to unmute yourself if that's more comfortable for you. So I'm going to quickly introduce our alumni panelists who are here today from very many disparate time zones. So I'm just gonna go with who's next to me on Zoom. So I'll start with Shan. Shan Jiang is a modern classical and Baroque violinist who studied Baroque violin performance here at Jacobs with Stanley Ritchie. And she has performed in the US, China, Korea, Russia, all over the world. She holds a Master of Music degree in violin performance from the University of North Texas and a Bachelor of Music in Violin Performance from the China Conservatory of Music. She's a first prize winner of the Red Swan Cup violin competition, as well as the International Radio, Film, and TV Violin Competition. And she has served as concertmaster under the baton of Stanley Ritchie, as well as with the China Young Philharmonic Symphony Orchestra. She was also one of the principal organizers of the 2016 Harbin International Music Festival. And right now she's also working as a music supervisor with films. She's created her own festival and she's teaching in China. I'm going to go now to Xue Jiang or Snow Jiang. Snow first came to the States in 2006 to attend Capital University as a piano performance student, where she won many competitions, including the Women in Music Columbus competition, the Graves/OMTA piano competition in both young artists solo and duo divisions, as well as the winner of the Capital University Concerto competition. Here at Jacobs, Snow completed her master's degree and performer's diploma and also worked for the IU Young Pianist program, so I guess we're colleagues in that sense. She's now completing her doctoral studies at the University of North Texas, where she's completing her doctoral dissertation on Chinese piano compositions based on traditional Peking opera. And finally, we have Wang, who is coming to us from Shenzhen. He served in the Shanghai Symphony Orchestra after graduation, and during his time in the United States, he was invited by the Columbus, Indiana Philharmonic, as well as the Charlotte Philharmonic Symphony Orchestra as assistant principal. He also participated in the open and closing ceremonies of the Shanghai World Expo in 2009, the North American Concert Tour, the Hamburg Music Festival, and the Chopin Festival in Poland. He's also a winner of the North American Teachers Association Annual Music Competition. So let's just give a warm welcome to our guests for being here at very late at night or very early in the morning for Snow. So I wanted us to start off the conversation with just a general overview of more of your background. So maybe when you graduated from IU, what kind of work you've been doing in China since then, or maybe like Snow, who's completing her doctorate degree in the US, what kind of work have you done in China, like in your time off? So maybe I'll just start with Shen, since she's next to me on Zoom, and to the other two panelists, feel free to jump in at any time.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here and talk with you guys. And I was here study at IU from 2013 to 15. I was studying at the early music department because I got my modern master degree, like violin performance degree in North Texas, and then now I'm doing another like major different like early music performance, like Baroque violin study, like IU here. And I was got the first place to get in and just to be the associate instructor of Professor Stanley Ritchie. So like, and after that, I moved to New York City to expand more opportunities of like performance and teaching. And then like 2 years ago, I moved back to China at 2019. And now I'm teaching private lessons, and like as Elizabeth introduced me, like, yeah, I'm also working with some movie stuff, like being a movie music supervisor, and also helping some like advanced student to apply schools in the States. Yeah.
Snow, what about you?
Yep, I'll introduce myself. Good morning, good evening, everybody. My name is Snow. I graduated from IU in 2018 for both my master and performance diploma. While I was at IU, I taught as a young pianist instructor, and I also served as associate instructor. Loved my time there. And after graduating, I came to Texas to start my doctoral degree. Now I'm finishing my dissertations here at UNT. Meanwhile, I'm mainly managing my own piano studio, teaching students in different age, different levels, and helping students to participate different events and competitions. And this is something I'm hoping to have it develop into a little more systematic, like academy system eventually. So now I'm living here in Allen, Texas with my husband and 3 dogs. Yep, yep. Yep, and very happy to be here.
Can you guys hear me? I know it's very noisy. Hello, my name is Wang, and I went to IU from 2007 to 2009. And after I graduated, I joined the Shanghai Symphony Orchestra. And after I finished from there, I worked with Wang, the biggest real estate company in China, and also Shenzhen Middle School. We built up an international school, and inside we also built out an arts academy, which is called Wang Weisha Arts Academy. I was a project manager and also do work as well as a double bass faculty. And now actually I just switched my new job this week because I get recruited by Huawei and Tsinghua University, and we are building another arts academy and also a symphony orchestra in called Qinglan Hill International School. So yeah, that's all. Very nice to meet you all. So as you can see, I just get off work. So yeah.
Thanks for joining us right after work. So I guess the next question I want to ask is, what can you share about classical music in China? What can you tell us about how it's unique or different in China and in a way that people should be aware of after spending years studying in the United States? So performing, teaching, how you get a job, anything related to that. And maybe Wang Di, can we start with you?
When I first time come back from the States and when I was joined with Shanghai Symphony, the first thing I was impressed is like the classical market in Shanghai is really good because like it's despite which orchestra will play, there is always like a hard to find the empty seats. So the concert always very booked. So like, and also we can see the government and also the people are very supportive for the classical music. And also besides just classical music, like the musical become extremely popular in the last 2 years. And this is a very good opportunity if this is someone people is interested in. So if everyone was like a want to develop jazz scene and also for musical, this is something it's a time to come back to China because every city started building big theaters and every company is to try to recruit for different diversity of the music. So this is what happened. Like I think it's very different in China. It's when I come back to China here, it's really a big orchestras. Probably have when I play in the States, probably they will have a 4 to 6 in one section, but here probably have a 10, even play more like have 12 people. So it's a huge. So and also actually they are very sticky into the standard repertoires. So like Tchaikovsky and Beethoven and this something. And I think that's the difference is different taste of the music is very diverse. And also in China, there's one thing I found is different because there are many people went to study abroad. It's not only in the States, but also study in Germany, also also UK, and also East Europe. So there's a lot of diversity inside, the different style, different understanding, and the different standard of the music. So this is something, if people interested in come to China, I think that's something they need to really work out. You need to have a big heart to embrace different concept of the music. So yeah. No.
Shan, maybe do you want to jump in on that? Oh, I think you're muted. Oh, sorry, could you say that one more time?
Oh, I'm sorry. Like I said, like I totally agree with what Jesus just said. And I think people here really like something new, like especially the city like Shanghai, they welcome all the different cultures, especially for example, I created my own music festival, like early music festival in Shanghai, and people are really interested in something that really they haven't heard it before, but they will come and they will just really enjoyed it. Yeah.
I know you sent me some photos from that. Would you want to share that now, or do you want to wait till a little bit later?
Like yeah, I need time.
Okay, maybe I'll share it because you created something really beautiful there. So you want to go through these really quickly, talking about your festival?
So I created my own early music festival called Sound of Baroque. This first year it happened in Beijing, and from the second year later it happened in Shanghai. And the first pictures is the invitation of my music festival, and I brought like several of my teachers, my mentors, back to Beijing and back to China. Yeah.
Yeah, we see Elizabeth Wright
And
Stanley Ritchie.
several professors from IU definitely, and the professor at Juilliard School, who is my like first Baroque teacher, and she also graduated from IU, and she is one of Stanley's student as well. Yeah, and also Ingrid Matthews, which is And in my festival, there was master class, and we brought like God string and Baroque bowl, let the student try, and they never had it before. Yeah, and we let them try the new, actually it's old instrument to play Bach or some dance music. And also we have students like they're really interested to study abroad, so we're also helping them to apply schools and get connections with the professors here. Yeah, so it's also culture exchange event, I think. Yeah, we're giving lectures, lecture concerts. This is in Tsinghua University. Yeah, and these are my films getting to the these are the offers of my students, like San Francisco Conservatory, New England Conservatory, and Royal Academy in UK. Yeah, so it's basically what I'm doing now, currently in China, in Beijing now.
So you feel like there's a big market yet to be developed for early music in China?
Yeah, I think so.
Nice.
Yeah, and I basically the student is still modern major student. They just started to know it, but we can combine the thoughts together. Yeah, and let them know like more of the background. Try the way to perform different performance practice. Just let them.
So, Snow, do you want to add to that?
I guess I'm not the best one to answer that question since I haven't been back for so long, but speaking from my experience and looking back at my friends who graduated from their degree, and I can see and I can definitely tell how music is becoming more and more important in our Chinese educations. And I know there's several very famous universities that started a music program, and a lot of my friends, my colleagues, and going back for their job as a college professor. And that's something just very, very wonderful to hear. Because I feel like time has changed. When it was our time, when we were in our middle school, high school, unless you are really, really dedicated, and people wouldn't suggest you to go to music direction because it's still very, very difficult. And I will say that payback is not going to be like you're going to be a, I don't know, surgeon, or you're going to be a lawyer. But it's good to see and good to hear music is becoming, like, people are paying more and more attention to music, and not just like a classic music, and jazz music becoming well accepted in China. And this is something like really wonderful to hear. Yeah.
I wanted to kind of jump off on something that Wang Di mentioned, which is there's so much going on in China, like you said, like so many orchestras, so many musicians in a section. What do you think that means about the competitive nature of the market? Because I think sometimes when people go into a field where they feel like it's saturated, where there's a lot of people, they worry about, is there going to be space for me? So do you guys feel that the music field in China is really competitive and difficult to get jobs, or do you feel like there's just a lot of space for everything?
There is definitely market here, but the funny thing is like it's very obvious between the insider and outsider. That's the key about the circle. It's very tricky something, and also like if the people was in the symphony, or if people is in the conservatory, that's another circle. If people is working just like independent, musicians, that's another way. And actually the funny thing is like they share the different society and the different market, and also they share different network. There are something like there are some common connections, but usually I find it really extremely interesting. Is like these two circle actually is operates individually. So that's something I find it extremely interesting. The things like I found out, I can give a very good example because I have three friends come back from US 3 years ago, 2 years ago. And most of them graduate from Juilliard and Yale. So they form a quartet called Yale Quartet. I don't know if it's legal now, but they use Yale's name. But anyway, so the funny thing is like special after the coronavirus, like the symphony gig, start to reduce rapidly. And but the theater need to survive. So they start to hire a lot of young artists to perform a quartet, trio, quintet there. So there is a market, but there is two way, in my opinion, can really get in. So first way, they can try to apply for symphony job or even conservatory job. That's a standard way. Or also like if they know, like Star can contact their repertoires from the Jucheng make translate in Chinese called Gathering Orange Company. It's the biggest online marketing in China, and they have almost 12 to 13 theater, and they always looking for young artists to perform or even give a tour. That's my friends how they get the tour from Beijing, Shanghai, and 5 cities, and they perform as a quartet. So it's very popular in the last 3 months, especially after coronavirus. And in the theater restrictions, they do not allow that many people perform on the theater, so even on the stage. So I think this is something I want to point out, like if people think they're interested in Chinese market, this year actually is the best chance. So yeah, it's a yeah.
That's great to know. Shan, do you want to jump in on that?
I'll just keep like say something about the situation like this year for the concert hall, because in China it's getting better and better, and audience could allow them to sit next to each other for the concerts. Like for like when the New Year's happened like 2 months ago, I was invited to Shanghai Concert Hall to play a quartet concert. We played a whole symphony of the Beethoven. They reduced the instrumentation to a quartet, and in 5 days, like in 4 days, we played 5 concerts, and all the tickets are sold out, and people sit next to each other, and everything's fine. And I think in China it's getting a lot better, and it's things getting to know more now already. Hopefully I will keep it.
I got a student question about Shan's festival. So this person was wondering like what kind of opportunities there are. Well, first of all, beautiful festival and obviously a very big project. This person was wondering if there are, what kinds of opportunities there are to fund this kind of like personal project or creative entrepreneurial project in China. Like, did you have to apply for grants? Did you have to crowdfund, or how did you support that?
Actually, I got the fund like by myself. Like I like ask friends, and they get the connections with some like jewelry brand or alcohol brand or car brand, and they're like doing some donations, and we are displaying their brand, like or they're parking a car at the hall, like in front of the hall. Yeah, and they're displaying some alcohol during like yeah during the master class or the performance or the rehearsals. So we're also and how to say, it's hard to get the fund, but also practice your, it's a new experience to be an entrepreneur than a musician. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, that sounds very entrepreneurial though. Like getting those sponsorships, that's the real deal. So I wanted to ask, if someone's moving to China, for example, if they have a job there but they want to supplement their income, and of course, like in any career field, we always say like it's all about who you know, right? And in Chinese too, it's 靠关系. So if you don't have those connections, if you don't have those connections already in China, do you have suggestions for building those even while you're still a student at IU? Oh, any of you feel free to jump in. Yeah.
First of all, actually, if you go to Beijing and Shanghai, I'm pretty sure there are a large number of Jacobs students in Beijing and Shanghai. So
right,
that's
the IU Gateway.
right, exactly. And secondly, I think also like if this is a fun, if you get into like a conservatory, that's a different thing, because you immediately have new friends, new connections. Then this can help you to really build up your network. And it also like it just we come back to the like things like if there's like always the agent company was looking for young artists. If you have a demo, if you have something, talk to them, send to them. Because like for me, I like Shenzhen's concert hall keep just asking like can you play a concert somewhere sometime, can you play like a perform with us and give some like a play something. Maybe it's not like a very filthy rich pay stipends concert. Maybe something is like for even for Sunday afternoon charity. Take those, and once they feel like you are good, you'll be invited back. And then like for example, you are in, if you're in Shenzhen, you will get like a Shenzhen concert hall, and then the Shenzhen Grand Opera Poly will invite you. Once you be noticed by a poly and also by the agent company, they start to look into your program and for sure see whether how many repertoire can you play, and then they start to discuss with you like how many concerts do you want to book, like are you willing to travel, and what's your like name your offer or price something. So it's not a rocket science as people think, and once they start the first step, it becomes easier and easier. So we can come back like a conservatory or like a professional ensemble, and also agent company and online theater. So this is something. And also there's new arts academy open every year, special for me. So actually, for me actually, we are suffering cannot find good artists. So this is a very ironic thing. It's like people in the States think maybe it's hard to find a job in China, but for us, like maybe it's hard to get a good artists from the States to China. So like we build a symphony, and right now we're still looking for like a violins, like a violas, cellists. It's just like there's a lot of opportunities. It just like need to really like get prepared, have enough repertoire, especially like the things that happen very ironically in China is just like I went to 3 or 4 auditions. I feel like more like a blind side more than an audition, because they will suddenly just give me a repertoire, said, please siren this, or please, this is something. And also like, can you play faster? Can you play? So of course that's standard, but there's always something like a very serendipity, let's say that happens. So prepare well and get ready. And Bloomington is one of the most important places in my life, because I do work really hard. I study with one of my grateful like teachers, Larry Hurst, but he's retired. But I learned a lot from my colleagues and teachers. So I feel very lucky, because when I came back to China, audition for 7 symphonies, I was very prepared, and the blind side, the sightseeing and the repertoires. I take me 2 months, because I was like prepared. It was in IU summer schools and the festival. So this is something like when you are ready, like just come back and use your connections and get to and the musical chair. .info always lists out all the openings. So yeah, I mean it's fairly easy, but you just need to be really prepared very well. Yeah.
Awesome, that's great advice. I wanted to ask Snow, because she and I are both pianists, and I know like a lot for pianists, a lot of our income comes from teaching students, right?
Yes.
Do you have any advice for recruiting students as someone that's just moved to China?
Wow, that's actually a very tough question. Any advice? Someone who just moved to China?
Move to China, or just any like general advice for like building that network out?
Well, I guess like Disa, you just gotta be proactive and like know the market. And yeah, for me, like what I did was I started to promote myself like on the websites or on Facebook, and like my students just starting to roll there. And of course you have to have a good quality lessons, and good words actually just spreads. And I got most of my students by other parents' recommendation. Yeah.
I mean, Shan is also teaching. Do you feel like it's the same kind of thing you've experienced, where it's just like by word of mouth, it spreads pretty easily?
Actually, like my first student, like when I got in China, like more advanced student is like the first year at IU, when the summer vacation like comes, and I went back to China, and there was a girl want to study with me and go abroad to study in the States, and I helped the girl to apply school. And I really enjoyed teaching like like Mozart or Bach, like specific period repertories, and she got a lot like changed. And when she auditioned, and the judge like give a really highly like, oh, how to say it, like it's
Like
really,
a high mark, high score?
yeah, for the dance of the Bach dance music. And I started to realize that I can put the early music thought, like performance practice, on a modern instrument too. So I started to like teach their, I think it's by the reputation, the parents of the student, or the offer the student gets, and their friends see, oh, they get into the really good school, and then their colleagues and their friends just come to study with me, and they also get a really good offer. So yeah.
Yeah, so word of mouth is super important, right?
Yeah, I think
Nice.
also like get your student as well, be as active as they can, like have them participate more of a music festivals, competitions. Yes, competitions, and not mainly just for the result. And it really builds up like students, like either its ambitions or their confidence. And yeah, I think it's important to keep them enrolled with all of those events. Or if you are studio teachers, and you can also keep your studio recitals going on like every 2 or 3 months, and just keep them prepared. Always have a small goals to achieve. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great advice. Does anyone have any? I just want to remind people who are watching, if you have questions, just put them in the chat. We just have about 20 minutes left in the session. I see Dee might have to leave in like 5 minutes, so if you have to head out, that's totally fine. Thank you so much for being here. I just have one question, which is about the general direction or trends of the music market here in China. So I guess we've touched on it a little bit, like Shan mentioned, there's a huge opportunity for early music people. There's a huge market that could be available. And then Dee was mentioning that there's a lot of diversity in music performances. Where do you see the field of music going in China within the next 5 years is my question. So are there any other general trends that you see, or any parts of the market where more opportunities are going to open up, or maybe perhaps like any opportunities that COVID has unexpectedly brought to the table that might continue even after all the restrictions are lifted?
Okay. Okay. Since I have to leave early for the urgent, so I'm just going to answer just describe my personal opinions. I think the Chinese market actually, from what I see, like actually the whole non-classical music actually growing. It's not pop music. It's just like the jazz scene, the musical, especially the musical, like no matter Baoli Juyuan or Jucheng, the two theaters, they keep purchasing like spend a millions dollar to buy the copyrights from the musical, like a Wicked or something like this. So actually, the things like for them, they really suffer because like there are many young foreign artists cannot come to China because COVID. So they really want to build their own like own musicals, it's like their own cast to perform those things. So actually, like they collaborate with like Shanghai, they build a musical institute in Shanghai there. So this is something like I think it's a very like a very need to be really pay attention on. I think this can grow really fast, and it seems like people are willing to spend a large amount of money, like a $200. Sometimes I see $300 just for one ticket. So this is something they are willing to spend. So the market is there, and they keep growing. And for classical music, actually, it really depends on the location. For example, in Shanghai, from before to right now, they keep building 3 to 4 like a concert hall. They still like every concert is packed. So like but in Canton, like Guangdong, I don't think there are many history or strong background as strong as Beijing or Shanghai. So the market actually is smaller. So this is something I think it's happening right now. I think the market is keep growing. And also another thing I think is growing really fast this year is the chamber music. It's like the quartet, the trio, like the people willing to give opportunity to young artists to perform. And also this is something like before, I think every month probably have a one or two chamber concert or recital, but right now I can see from every week. So this is something I think like if there's we have a chamber musicians and looking for opportunities, it's worth to come to China to give a shot. Right? Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I'm so sorry. I know you got an urgent message from your school, so you have to hop out soon. But thank you so much for being here. That was really helpful. All right. Shan or Snow, do you want to add to that question? Any general trends or market openings in China that you see happening within the next few years?
Yeah, because like last month, I think Chinese government just announced a new policy, like education policy, that's the music get more involved of the like higher education. So I think for our school, we have a department of the string academy for the pre-college student, right? From the beginners, like until the right before they get into the college. So I think the pedagogy, the teaching, like lower age students, gonna be more and more. The teachers gonna be more and more needed, and also, for now, their parents, even their only primary school student, the parents wanted the teacher to speak both English and Chinese. I think that's a good opportunities for students, like for student at IU, and or even foreign student come back to China to find their jobs or create their career. Yeah, I think it's a good opportunities.
Yeah, in my opinion too, I think for good teachers and the teacher who really can bring students to another level, they will not starve in China because parents, students will come to you. Another thing is, especially when you graduate from school like IU, we are well prepared because of the school system, and it just kind of forces you to become better musicians. And I remember my time there. I kind of had to force myself to get out of the bed and go practice at 9, 10 p.m. because that's the only time you have. And if you lose it, you don't get it. Yeah, and imagine everybody does that in a school. It just really forces you to be a better musicians. And I think another advice for either that's a current student at you, or who wants to develop a career in China is to keep your mind open, because you are majoring, let's say, a piano performance. That doesn't mean you have to get a piano performance related job first. Maybe that's your ultimate goal. You want to be a concert pianist, you want to be a master pianist in China. But like Dee said before, take whatever job is available, because that's how you build up the social network. Yeah, and with that network, and things will just become easier and easier. Yeah, but definitely keep your mind open. Yeah.
That's super great advice. And yes, I remember those 9 p.m., 10 p.m. practice sessions. I cry. I wanted to touch on something you mentioned, which is like the English and Chinese version, or maybe Shan, you were talking about that. My friend who is Chinese and speaks Chinese, but he said that when he goes back to teach, he sometimes markets himself as like a teacher who teaches in English. So I'm wondering if there is really like a big market for that, say for someone who's really comfortable teaching in English, having taught here for, many years, and they go back and, not feeling comfortable teaching in Mandarin. How do you think there's like a market for that kind of teacher?
Definitely.
Yeah, I think in Beijing, especially in Beijing and Shanghai, there was a lot like middle school and high school international schools. And like not only for music, other majors, other class, they're also teaching in both language, or sometimes it's only in English. It happens more and more. There were more and more schools teaching this way. So people enjoyed it, and the like for the parents, they really, yeah, they really wanted their teacher to, or some kids, they're born in Europe, or they're born in United States, and they come back, they only can speak English and they want to learn Mandarin. But you have to know both languages, then you can teach, that you can transfer it to the student. So yeah.
It's great to know. I'm just going to mention that our session is going to wrap up in less than 15 minutes. So if anyone has any burning questions. Oh, I have a question here. This person says, how is the classical saxophone market in China? I heard it's good. More and more young students are learning saxophone. Have you guys heard about anything about that?
The wins.
Oh. I know jazz music is in general like becoming more and more popular. Yeah, so it wouldn't surprise me. Saxophone becoming more and more popular too.
Any other general advice for someone that has never lived in China or has not lived there for a long time, but is thinking about moving there to live and work? Any just general advice, even just like about, you know, transportation or the culture, anything like that?
Enjoy the food. Well, I guess again, just keep your mind open and be ready to experience different culture, because like I do think like Chinese culture and American culture work quite differently, but both for good. Any advice?
But for my experience, because I do like a lot of different kinds of stuff are related to music, but not limited to just only perform. I really want to how to like discover what inside of my body, my inside part, what I really want, what I really enjoyed, even it's not your major. Just open your mind, just don't limit it yourself, I think. Yeah.
I got a question from someone who says that they have like some Mandarin background, but like if you are a foreigner that has a little bit of Mandarin background but is not completely comfortable with it yet, if you go to like a big city like Beijing, are there like all the signs in English as well? Like I know in parts of Japan it's like that as well. So is it pretty relatively foreigner friendly?
Yeah, I think in Beijing and Shanghai at least. And also, I think more and more cities all the signs are in both languages. And I think for like 2 to 3 months, he or she will speak Mandarin like very well.
Just from being immersed in that culture, right?
Yeah.
Does anyone have any other questions? If not, I'm going to turn the conversation to COVID, which I know no one wants to talk about, but I'm curious. So I was just wondering what the situation is like there now in regards to music education and performing and, you know, the whole pandemic situation, as well as, I know we talked about this a little bit already, but what are some changes, or have you seen any changes due to COVID that you think are going to keep going into the future? Like, is there like an increased interaction with technology? How do you think quarantine is going to be in, like, you know, by the end of this year? I know it's a very broad topic.
I think in China it's more like we are already in a normal life for the concerts, and the orchestras started to traveling, give a tour concerts inside of China, but still, yeah, we couldn't go abroad like outside of China. but they're very busy traveling and performances. Yeah, I hope in the States, people are getting through it quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in here, COVID had huge impact, especially on music field, and pretty much all the shows, all the symphonies had to stop the show. And as a private like teacher, it kind of impact my student as well. But thanks to the wonderful world of technology, okay, we can teach through Zoom, we can teach through FaceTime, and you might think COVID kind of limited our ability to reach out to the student. But if you think in that way, it actually opens another door. It gives us a better opportunity to reach students or get connected with students who we normally wouldn't, like from different cities or even from different countries. So I think even when life goes back to normal, this technology connections will help us tremendously, and I think it will last.
Yeah, I think now is a technology like evaluation. So everything changed a lot during this COVID time. Yeah.
Have you guys had any experience with like concert streaming? Like, how is that field doing in China? Like live streaming concerts, do you think that's going to continue to be a big thing? Or was it kind of like a temporary remedy for all the pandemic restrictions?
I think especially for the chamber music, it's really hard to give it online. Like for the recordings, probably is fine, but as live concerts through the Zoom or technical things, yeah, different internet like speed, or yeah, it's hard. So hopefully it's just for a short time, and we'll eventually get back to the hall, and live concerts is a lot better. Yeah, for the chamber music, to hear each other, to feel each other, to yeah.
Yeah, I'm so jealous when I hear you saying that for concerts it's back to normal in China, because I
Yeah.
really miss that now. Yeah, I really
Yeah.
miss that. I have one last question. This is just from my own curiosity. As a teacher, again, do you feel that there's like a big difference in culture between, you know, pedagogy in China and pedagogy here? Like, as someone that's used to teaching here and like treating students in a certain way, is there a big cultural shift if I were to take that to China?
I think nowadays, in general, music background becoming more and more in sync. But growing up in China, I didn't feel like it was the same experience from studying, let's say, in America. And yeah, but of course, the time has changed. I'm not sure how the music education works in China, especially for younger ones. But at my time, we took a lot of time to reinforce our techniques. And there was a lot of etudes practice and a lot of technique juries almost every semester. But coming here, what I feel like I learned is more of my personal music taste, to interpreting music in my own language, and instead of like a teacher telling you what to do and telling you how to shape the music phrase and things like this. And I feel like in both combination really works really well, because a musician who has a very, very good music taste or musicality, but without techniques, it still wouldn't work. And it works the same the other way around. Let's say you have a very, very strong techniques, but you're just not that musical. Again, your music wouldn't sound nice. Yeah. So, but I think for now, as a lot of scholars or musicians who experience like a Western education, who went back to China and teach, I think they will carry this American very good tradition, like inspire student instead of like teaching them. It's sort of like telling them what to do. Yeah.
Oh, I really agree with what Snow says. And also I think when I was little, I play a lot like open strings and study skills for like many hours. And I play the studies one by one. Because in the States, probably the teacher teach the kids to pick some piece of the study. Just now, like you have to do every pages. But in China, like in the whole book, I have to finish every page of it. And also, for the first 2 years, I came to the States. My first violin teacher is a German teacher, and he's really opened up my like imagination and musical things. But all the musical stuff is based on the skills. It's based on the technical things. And also later I started to learn historically performance practice. And I think the technical and the imagination, the feelings, and the historically performance practice, these three combination is even better for musicians. Yeah.
That's great to hear about that melding of your backgrounds and traditions and experiences.
Yeah.
So I guess we're at the end of our session now, but thank you both so much. And thank you also to Wang Di, even though he's not here, for sharing your time and experiences with us. It was really interesting and really helpful. And I know it's like, what is it? It's 10 p.m. for Shan and it's like 9 a.m. for Shan in Texas. So again, huge thank you for being here. Thank you so much to Joni for organizing this, as well as to Stephen Ying from the China Gateway office. I truly hope that if you are thinking about moving to China or even have already been lucky enough to get a job there, that you will get in touch with him and see if you can build your network from there. So unless anyone has any other further thoughts to say, I want to thank everyone for joining us here. I know IU is in its very last week of classes, so I wish you the best of luck for your classes and finals. And if you're on Bloomington campus, please join us tomorrow, 12 to 2 p.m. for the ice cream social, where we're going to have free shaved ice and some fun and games and kind of celebrate getting through this rough year together. All right, with that, I think I'm going to close off our session. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much for
again, Shan.
inviting us.
Thank you for having
Thank you so
us.
Great to
much.
see you.
Hope it helped.
All right.